The Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos. All they had to do was win last week to get into the playoffs. They couldn't do it. All they had to do today was win to get into the playoffs, and they couldn't do it. All they have to do is win next week and beat the Kansas City Chiefs to get into the playoffs, and I think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to do it. But all they need to do right now is to win one game, and the Colts, Dolphins, or Bengals need to lose one game, or like they all need to lose one game, and the Denver Broncos have locked in their playoff seat. Since they lost today to the Cincinnati Bengals, their playoff chances dropped down to 61%. So we got to ask the question, guys, are the Denver Broncos, are they contenders or pretenders if they make the playoffs? If they make the playoffs, can they win that wild card game? So far this season, the Denver Broncos have only beaten one team with the winning record. That is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in week 3 on Thursday Night Football, back when the Honolulu flu was the real thing. So far this season, the Denver Broncos are 1-5 versus playoff teams. 1-5. And they only beaten one winning team. And it goes even beyond that, right? It goes beyond that. Their offense, as much as their offense has improved from week 1, 2, 3, hell, even week 6, and into now, they're still pretty bad. They're 22nd overall on the offense, 314 yards per game, 22nd in passing. Bo Nix is starting to sling it like a rock and throwing a lot of interceptions. That interception in the third or fourth quarter damn near cost them that game. Granted, went into overtime and they ultimately lost the game, so I guess it did cost them, but they're only averaging 205.5 yards passing per game. Rushing is not very good either. 18th in the NFL, 108 yards per game. They are, however, 10th in scoring. So that kind of tells me that their defense is playing pretty good, giving them some short yardage situations. Punting game is pretty good, whatever. But they are 10th in scoring, averaging 24.2 points per game. And on the flip side of that, the Denver Broncos have broke 30 the last 4 of their last 5 games prior to the Cincinnati game. The defense is pretty lock solid. The defense is pretty good. They got the 9th overall defense, only giving up 319.6 yards per game. They're 18th in passing, however. That number is going to go up, giving up damn near 500 yards to Joe Burrow today, but they only given up 219.8 yards per game. They're 5th in rush defense, only giving up 99 yards per game. 4th in scoring defense, only giving up 18.7 points per game. And they're 2nd in red zone defense, letting a point score at a rate of 45.2%. They have won 4 games in a row before losing to the Chargers and losing to the Bengals. So they have won 4 of their last 6. They are currently on a 2-game losing streak. The defense, the one shining bright point of their team, has only held one team to under 10 points since week 4. Defense has not been playing very, 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 very good. As the defense is their bank all, end all, be all type of thing. Hey, our defense is like great. That's what Mark and the rest of the Denver Broncos crews have been banking on all season long. Our defense is great. They haven't been very good since week 4. Let's just be honest. Everybody's scoring over 10 points on them. Hell, they gave up 30 points today versus the Cincinnati Bengals. So, guys, if the Denver Broncos make the playoffs, are they contenders or are they pretenders? I don't think it matters if they're the 1st seed, the 2nd seed, the 5th seed, or the 7th seed. The Denver Broncos are a first-round exit. The Denver Broncos are pretenders. The Denver Broncos shouldn't even be in the conversation of the playoffs. Let's just be flat out honest. We talked about Sean Payton earlier being potentially coach of the year. Does this loss to the Cincinnati Bengals hurt his chances as coach of the year? And honestly, I think this whole season stunts their growth moving forward. Yes, having success is nice. Yes, winning is nice. But you still have a lot of holes to fill. Your passing game is terrible. Your rushing game is subpar. Your defense is great. Don't get it twisted. But the offense is terrible. You needed draft picks. Because you got, $60 million in dead cap money for Russell Wilson next season. Actually, I think it's 40. 60 this year, 40 next year, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, you have to nail the draft. And making the playoffs is just hurting your draft stock. And honestly, the Denver Broncos should want to lose to the Kansas City Chiefs on week 18. They should put in their practice squad players and just get blown out. Let's just be honest. Let's just do it. Because I believe Jameson said it earlier, right? Hell, the Chiefs should just lose so they block the Bengals from getting into the playoffs. Well, how about this? The Broncos should lose so the Bengals can get into the playoffs and then knock out the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's play that double-edged sword. But guys, the Denver Broncos are pretenders. There is no question about it in my mind. They are pretenders. No way they can compete with anybody in the playoffs. Not the Texans, not the Chargers, not the Steelers, not the Ravens, not the Bills, not the Chiefs, not anybody. They are pretenders. So guys, in the comments, are they contenders or are they pretenders? Are they contenders or are they pretenders? Da-da-da-dum. Laura says, where's Mark? I'm disappointed in his Broncos. Broncos are Fugazi. Sorry and shit. Actually, she says sorry, not sorry. Like I said, Laura, Mark is over there in the corner. He is crying, using his tears as lubricant to make way to week 18. And Derek says they had the paper tiger D. Their defense is not very good right now. Let's just be honest. You are correct. Their defense is not very good right now. Josh says, I think they have a chance to beat the Bills in the first round. Josh, I was with you a couple weeks ago. Prior to the Chargers game, I was with you. I was like, hey, the Buffalo Bills don't want to see the Denver Broncos. I was saying that the Kansas City Chiefs don't want to see the Denver Broncos. I was with you on that. I was 100% with you. The Broncos were playing pretty good football at that particular point, right? They won 4 games in a row. They beat the Falcons, Raiders, Browns, and Colts pretty handily in all those games. Offense was flying high. Offense is still flying high, but the defense is starting to suck it up a little bit, right? Giving up 27 points to the Chargers, 24 versus the Bengals. Sorry, 30 versus the Bengals. Hell, they gave up 32 points versus the Cleveland Browns, right? Just 3 weeks ago, Josh, I would have been with you. But that is what is so great about the NFL. Every week it is so fluid, right? Every week it is so fluid. One time, week 8, you're on top of the world, right? You blow out a team 54-6, right? And then all of a sudden, you're getting blown out the next week. All of a sudden, you're on a 3-game losing streak. All of a sudden, you're like, man, are we going to make the playoffs? And then all of a sudden, you win a game here. Momentum starts to flow with you. You win the game there. Okay, well, now we're rolling. 3 games in a row, about to make on a Super Bowl, baby. That is why I love the NFL. It is so fluid, and I love it. I love it. Jameson says Texans will be easily beaten in the playoffs. We talked about that last night. You are correct. You are correct. Derek says Denver gets T. Higgins, running back they got a portion of maybe. We'll see if T. Higgins. Rumor is that T. Higgins and Jamar Chase now have the same agent. So put that into stock, whatever you want to do. It is what it is. Jim says it's time to herd the cattle over them Brokeback Mountains. Broncos have other shit to do. Not wrong. Not wrong.